Yeah. Hop, I need to put a hat on. Here you go. Welcome to another live session, guys. We're here to talk about traveling in New Zealand for an hour. We're going to answer all your questions because we kind of are the experts of traveling in New Zealand. But Laura, why are we the experts?
Well, this is Kiwi, this is Robin, and I'm Laura, and we're the team behind NZPocketGuide.com, which is New Zealand's largest travel guide because it literally has thousands and thousands of articles to help you plan your trip to New Zealand. Whether you're just here for a 2-week campervan road trip around the country, or you're planning a whole year doing a working holiday, we cover all that good stuff on NZPocketGuide.com. So make sure to go check that out. But if you're not really into reading tons and tons of articles, then we also do this handy live Q&A session for you guys. So you can come directly onto the live chat and ask your questions about traveling in New Zealand. And we do this every single Sunday at 8 a.m. New Zealand time. And if you want to know the exact times, we do have them in a link in the description below so you can find it for your exact country. But just to give you a general overview, in the UK and France, that's around 10 p.m. on a Saturday evening. In the US, that is, I always need to remind myself of the US ones, 4 p.m. EST or 1 p.m. PST. In India, that's bright and early on a Sunday morning at 1:30 a.m. And in Australia, that is also bright and early on a Sunday morning at 6 a.m.
Nice.
So if you guys do have any questions, the best place to come is onto the live chat right now if you are live with us. Otherwise, you can put your questions in the comments section of any of our YouTube videos. And we also pull those together into handy little slips like this. So we can also go through those questions as well. So yeah, ask away.
Nice. So we already have Jazz Narula that says, hi guys from India. Hey Jazz, how are you doing? How warm are you in India? Because it's really cold here in New Zealand since we're in winter.
Yeah.
We also have Kathy White from the USA, which it says, hi, I'm in the USA. So nice one. Where are you in the US? Are you on the East Coast, the West Coast? Whereabouts are you? So yeah, so if you guys have any questions about traveling in New Zealand, you just pop it in the live chat and we do like usual. I read every single comment out loud, except if some are naughty and then I delete them. But I read all the comments out loud and we're here to answer all your questions about traveling in New Zealand. So to give you a little bit of an update about where is New Zealand at the moment, we still have our borders closed, but New Zealand has got rid of community transmission of the coronavirus throughout the country. So we enjoy kind of basically a return to everyday life.
Yeah, basically a mask-free life.
Exactly. So we have a mask-free life, which is quite nice. And it is winter right now in New Zealand because we are in the southern hemisphere. So in the southern hemisphere, we basically have the opposite season than what you will have in the northern hemisphere. So right now it is winter. In August in New Zealand is usually the time when everybody is hitting the ski slopes and enjoying the snow and the cold, which it definitely is cold today.
Yeah.
We also have Lucas here, which is in the live chat right now. It's hi, it's 4 a.m. over here in Singapore.
Wow.
What are you doing awake at 4 a.m., Lucas? What's wrong with you? Go to bed. Or maybe you're working really early. Jazz say it's the rainy season in India, so a bit warm and a bit pleasant. So that's cool. That's nice.
Nice.
We have Kathy White that says, I wait the day the border opens to the USA. I'm in Tennessee. Oh, nice. And Anthony Comstock says, Morena from California, USA. Anthony, what did you think about that hiking video that we did for you?
We
did you enjoy that?
Especially for you.
So if you guys don't know, yesterday we published a video which was a full hike in New Zealand. So we went to Taranaki Falls, which is in the beautiful Tongariro National Park. And we walked our way all the way to the waterfall. And it was just a completely quiet video, which is very unusual for us.
Yeah.
Most of the videos, we blabber all the time with a lot of information. We always believe that giving you a lot of information is what we're here for. But we were asked to do a video of just a hike to see what it is like to hike in New Zealand. So this hike features beautiful volcanic landscape. We have beautiful volcanoes under the snow, so it looks fantastic. There is also some native forest in New Zealand, and it finishes in a waterfall where we had our lunch break. So that was a quite nice day for us.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'd be intrigued to know if you guys did like this video, especially you, Anthony, since we did it for you.
Yeah.
So yeah, having a bit of a hot drink right here. So Nicholas Ang say hi all. I see that everybody's waking up with us. We're having a nice warm drink. I have to be honest, we are very cold. It's a slower start than usual for us because we're very cold.
Is that good?
that feels good. And so Anthony say he liked the video, especially when you two took a drink at the waterfall. It's a really lovely hike. So yeah, it looks like there is a little bit of momentum on that video. So if you guys actually do like this video, share it around, make sure that a lot of people are seeing it. And I think if it hits like maybe 1,500 to 2,000 views, we may just do another one of those, just because since you guys like it, we'll do it. Usually our videos, they only have about 200 views. All right, Lucas says, I'm up because I've got questions about migrating, if that's okay. So we can talk, Lucas, if you want, but just about very general kind of stuff. We cannot give you immigration advice. There is a law in New Zealand that states that only registered immigration advisors have the right to give immigration advice in New Zealand. And since we're not a registered immigration advisor, we can't. So this channel is usually much more about traveling in New Zealand and things to do and all that. But if you do have some general questions about New Zealand, we're very happy to help. Kathy White says, I'm moving to New Zealand with my son and family next year from the USA. Oh, that's awesome. Nice. Where are you going to be living, Kathy? I think you're gonna have a blast. I mean, New Zealand is pretty amazing.
Yeah, people tend to like it here.
As long as you're outdoorsy. If you're looking for like the big city life, you may not find what you like, but here you go. Yeah. Kiwi Lauren is here from Canada. Hey, Lauren, how are you doing? So Kiwi Lauren, she's been around maybe about 2-3 live sessions. Yeah. She also has posted a ton of photos on our Facebook page. So on our Facebook page, we really often kind of ask you, hey, like we took some good pictures of like show us your shots and everything. She shared a ton of pictures. So if you guys want to check out some of her pictures, you can head out to our Facebook page. There is a link below, and I think you just type NZ Pocket Guide on Facebook.
You'll find us pretty easily.
So what she say? Hi again from Canada. I've started watching your Gap Year video, and the Green Dragon Inn looked so fun. Now I want to go next time I visit. Nice one. Nice. Yeah, that's definitely a big tourist hotspot in New Zealand. So the Green Dragon Inn is in Hobbiton. So Hobbiton is in the town of Matamata. It's a little bit south of Auckland, and it's one of the most popular tourist attraction in New Zealand. I'd say this one, and then there is a Milford Sound cruise, and I'd say the Glowworm Caves as well.
Waitomo is really popular as well. Yeah, I think it's probably one of the top 3 sort of tourist attractions in New Zealand. Yeah. But it's so easy to visit because a tour there, well, the average, like the normal tour, because there's usually different types, but the normal tour is only about 2 hours long. So while you're road tripping around the North Island, it's just a really easy tour to go on because it doesn't take too much time either.
And Kathy Wise says, we are still searching for a city. We have a lot of video to help you, Kathy, on the channel. If you just type the word city, you'll find the cheapest city, the best cities, like a lot of videos like that. So you can get a good feel about what are those places. If you can pull up with our nonsense talking all the time in all those videos, we have a lot of comments lately of people that didn't like all the narration, but that's where we are. We have a lot of information to share.
Yeah.
So this month, this month is August, and August is water protection month or something like that. So yeah, it's a good thing. And it's good for the water.
Seems like you know a lot about it.
Yeah. I did write. I actually did some research about it, but then I left that in the other room, so I don't have my.
I was wondering what sort of international day it would be today.
I know. I wanted to actually, like usually I say like International Pancake Day or something like that, and it's kind of like it's boring, right? It's kind of funny just for a laugh, but it doesn't really. It's really inconsequential. But August is kind of. Saving the waters day, and I think it's kind of an important thing, especially in New Zealand. We obviously have a lot of waterways, and there is a lot of farming, and farming creates a lot of runoff, which is either pesticides or
slurry, cow
slurry, and everything kind of going into the waters and everything like that. So it's kind of our way to, it's kind of a good time to kind of raise awareness. So if you do ever have a chance to not pollute waters, be aware of that, and also know that a lot of very, very clear-looking waters all around the world, including in New Zealand, are not necessarily super safe either. There's a lot of polluted waterways, so be aware of that. And
look after the planet, people.
Exactly, save the planet. All right. So one thing that we wanted to talk about today is obviously there is a big topic of conversation at the moment, and it's the coronavirus, right? And there has been an announcement by Air New Zealand that actually showcase what kind of international flight they're going to be running in September and October. And I think that despite the fact it's not an official government announcement or anything like that, it gives a good understanding into where is New Zealand when it comes to international connection for the foreseeable 2 months. So we'll go over that and we'll give you a little bit of understanding about our train of thought as well when we did our videos with prediction of the border openings.
Yeah, so currently, as it stands right now, the borders are closed to New Zealand to all international travelers, except for a very few amount of people. Usually it's New Zealand citizens or residents returning back from another country that are allowed back into New Zealand, or essential workers. So you have to meet a very specific criteria to come to New Zealand. And that's basically what it is. Otherwise, basically to the rest of the world, the borders are closed. And when people do arrive back in New Zealand at the moment, they have to stay in an isolation or quarantine facility, which these are actually not as scary as they sound. They're actually just hotels that are currently being sort of managed by the government. So you actually get to stay in a hotel for a couple of weeks or minimum of 14 days, and you get a couple of tests for the coronavirus while you are in quarantine, and that basically determines whether you can be let out into the community after your 14 days or not. So that's currently what it's like in New Zealand with the state of coronavirus right now.
So once you get out of isolation, then you kind of are free to basically do pretty much what you want. As we mentioned at the beginning of our live session today, we kind of enjoy kind of a mask-free lifestyle at the moment in New Zealand. Yeah. But going back to the topic at hand, Air New Zealand, I'm just referring to my notes right here. So Air New Zealand has announced their schedule for international travel from the 1st of September to the 24th of October. And you will notice that there is really not that many flights. And we'll group them a little bit into kind of which areas they're going to. And that will help you understand how many people are expected to be coming to New Zealand. And that's also why we had so many pessimistic predictions about when will the border opens of New Zealand. What we were telling you guys, don't plan to come in 2021. And I'll go a bit more in depth afterwards. But again, this is just an announcement from Air New Zealand. It's nothing official, and we are just extrapolating some speculation based on some information. So I just really want to make sure that you guys are not taking this as a fake news and going to run with it and planning all your life plans. With that, it is just some speculation based on some information we received. So first up, we're going to be talking about some connection with Australia. So with Australia, Auckland to Sydney is going to be running 9 times per week. Auckland to Brisbane is going to be running 4 times per week. Auckland to Melbourne will be running 7 times per week. And there is not going to be any other kind of schedule. So Air New Zealand is only going to be servicing 3 cities, which are going to be Brisbane, Sydney, and Melbourne. And that's only going to be a total of 20 flights. So that's only 20 flights per week. It's very, very, very low. It's less than a tenth of what they usually run. It's usually a very, very busy route. And it's expected that most of the planes are going to be quite empty. Those are really just the basic services. And again, since, as Laura mentioned, the borders are closed, it's literally just for Kiwis kind of returning home, which are willing to put up with all the quarantine, with all the quarantine, and also for essential workers. So, some health workers or anything like that. So you have to know that it's really... there is really some tight control in there. Now, New Zealand also has a lot of connections with the South Pacific Islands. We kind of mostly are a big hub for the South Pacific Islands, more so than Australia. I mean, Australia is also a big hub to travel to the South Pacific Island, but New Zealand is very, very well connected to the South Pacific Island and has hundreds and hundreds of flights to the South Pacific usually. Now, here's what flights are going to be scheduled. So between Auckland, Rarotonga, Fiji, Samoa and Tonga, that's 1 flight per week. So that's 1 flight per week to each of those markets. So that's 1 flight to Fiji, 1 flight to Rarotonga, which is the Cook Islands, 1 flight to Samoa, and 1 flight to Tonga. For Niue, there is going to be 1 flight per week. For the Norfolk Islands, Air New Zealand is going to run a Sydney to Norfolk Island twice per week, Brisbane to Norfolk Island twice per week, and all other services will be cancelled. Now, that shows you that even with markets which are mostly COVID-19 free, right? There is really no outbreak in the South Pacific. There is a couple of cases in Fiji. There is some few cases in French Polynesia, but it's not even on the list. But even to markets in Tonga, which is COVID-19 free, and Niue, which is COVID-19 free, the flights are drastically reduced. So you've got to be aware that this is kind of a really unusual situation right here, and that shows you that even where there is places which have already eradicated COVID-19, there is not even a return to normal. So same thing, people that are coming from those places in the world, they still have to do all the quarantine and those kind of things. So there is going to be very few amount of people in the planes. Now, one thing to keep in mind as well is that the situation may change. I wouldn't be put it past Air New Zealand to actually increase flight if some travels will be allowed. There are a lot of talk right now with the bubble, talking about a bubble between the Cook Islands and New Zealand as well, between Niue and New Zealand as well. So there's a lot of talk with that. That means that if the market open, and that will take a couple of weeks at least, even more probably. But if the markets open, then at this point free travel will be allowed, and at this point Air New Zealand will try to recoup some cost of it, this best operating cost, and they're going to start doing a lot of flight there. So this may change as well, but that's right now what they're forecasting. And finally, we're going to be talking a little bit about long-haul flights. So that may pertain to you guys a little bit more, which is flights which are more international. So again, we don't really consider like Australia as international just because it's just so close. But longer-haul flight, here's what Air New Zealand has planned between the 1st of September and the 24th of October. So between Auckland and Los Angeles, they're going to do one flight daily, so one flight per day. Between Auckland and San Francisco, they're going to do 3 flights per week. Between Auckland and Hong Kong, they're going to do 3 flights per week. Between Auckland and Seoul, they're going to do 1 flight per month. That is it. Between Auckland and Narita, that's 1 flight per week. Between Auckland and Shanghai, that's 1 flight per week. And between actually there's a note that says Auckland to Shanghai are already fully sold out for travel until the end of September. So there is obviously demand of people trying to get their family back together. But yeah, even if some flights are sold out, they're still not putting much more flights on top of that, just also because there is some issues with capacities of quarantine. So when you actually have to put people in quarantine when they arrive in New Zealand, you need to have enough quarantine facilities for that. And that's also an issue that New Zealand may encounter. So they're working very closely with Air New Zealand in order to organize that. Now, there are some preparations which are put in place in some airports. So for example, the Auckland airport have just concluded kind of a big reshuffle around the whole airport, and they're divided in 2 halves, with one kind of safe zone travel for both domestic travels as well as like kind of travel to like the Cook Island and places like that when they reopen. And you also have one at-risk travel, so like kind of zone 2 for passengers that have to be screened, put into quarantine and do all that. So there is going to be absolutely no contact between those 2 zones. So even the airport won't be a hotbed or something very disorganized in which the virus will be able to spread. So there is a lot of work which are put in place in order to kind of slowly reopen market by market. But as you can see, even with places which have already eradicated COVID-19, well, there is, until the end of October, there is not much of an interest by the airline to run flights. So that really shows you that the reopening of the border is going to be extremely slow. And that's why when we did our prediction and we went through every single countries, and we were telling that most of the countries are not going to open until January or February next year, this is kind of the information that we take in consideration. Because there is one more thing to keep in mind, is that even if the markets reopen, it still takes at least a week or 2 for an airline to reschedule flights to a place. It's not that fast, especially since in the airline industry, usually when you get slots allocated or routes allocated, let's say between Auckland and San Francisco, for instance, if you don't fly that route, you kind of lose it, and then other airline can take it. And obviously, there has been a lot of amendment to those kind of rules due to COVID-19 because it's unprecedented. But that's kind of like what the rule is. So there is still quite a lot of paperwork involved to just open a new route to somewhere else. It is obviously going to be sped up because right now they really want to re-kickstart the tourism economy, but it still does take a little bit of time to get that ball rolling again. So since right now we looked at the schedule until the end of October, then that just leaves us in this November and December. By the time they rework extra routes and everything like that, if the markets reopen, that really leaves you very little amount of travels to be done in 2020. So for this reason, most of our predictions were pushed all the way to 2021 and then actually all the way to beginning to mid 2021 for reopening. And that is if the virus is under control in your country as well, because I think that's something which is very important as well to keep in mind. It's not just up to New Zealand to kind of keep COVID-19 free. If you want the border to be open with your country, well, you need to have it under control as well, because New Zealand is not going to take a risk of reopening the border to a country that has like kind of rampant community community transmission. Yeah. All right, so I hope that this understanding and this extra tidbits of information was useful to you. I know that it was just a little bit of information and it was full of speculation in the middle of all of it. And I really want you guys to keep that in mind. Those were just mostly speculation. There was some information that we received, but mostly speculation. So please don't take that as news. Don't plan your trip around that, but just get an understanding about the current situation and why we made our prediction and how. If you did find this video useful, you can hit the like button. It's always a free way to say thank you for all our hard work. And if you hit subscribe, you'll get much more news about traveling in New Zealand, also all our tips and all the awesome things to do. So here you go. Thank you for watching. All right, let's go back to the live chat. What has been happening? Milan Kuwait say, any update about online student visa application? No, Milan, the last video that we did was literally all the updates that we had. There is a full video about student visas and what we know about it at the moment. And that's literally everything we had. I think it's kind of not a priority right now for the New Zealand government. For this reason, there is very little amount of information going on. Sherry says, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing, Sherry? How's it going in Australia? Kerman Mystery says, I'm in India. Can I get a job search visa or a working holiday visa? Please reply. So from India, as far as we know, you are not eligible for working holiday visa, but for job search visa, under certain conditions, you may be able to apply for one. You will need to contact Immigration New Zealand. You can go on their website, so it's immigration.govt.nz. And on there is like, some questions, and you kind of answer the question and it tells you which visa you can apply to. Now, I will advise you to not apply for any visas until at least next year, just because Immigration New Zealand is really busy with other stuff. And then they're going to have a big backlog of stuff to do after that. So, every application that we receive since then, they will have to run through the backlog. So right now, nothing is going to be processed until quite a while. So I personally will say don't apply until literally this time next year. So don't apply until August 2021. That would be my advice.
I would say don't apply until keep like your eyes on the Immigration New Zealand website. They have like news on basically what types of visas they are processing at the moment. So basically, as soon as they say on the immigration website that they are starting to process the job search visas from overseas, then that's probably, you need to wait until basically you get the go ahead off the website, because at the moment they're only processing like resident visas from people that are actually already in New Zealand, that sort of thing. So, but they do have all that information on the website, so you can check what sort of visas they are currently processing at the moment. And if you do it too soon, it will go into a queue to be processed when they do finally do that. But I mean, they will, take your money. You will have to pay for it straight away as soon as you apply for a visa, whether they're processing it or not. You'll still have to pay for it. So, and
wait and see.
Exactly. Anything could happen between now and when they finally get to processing. So you might as well just play it safe and only do your application when they are actually starting to process applications again. Yeah,
I wholeheartedly agree with that. Hiroshi says, hey guys, how are you? Finally got up to see you. Haha. Hey, how are you doing? Good morning. So Hiroshi is here in New Zealand on a working holiday visa. He kind of arrived just before the craziness started. So got a little bit lucky. And if you watch some videos of us about maybe like some of those live sessions from about like 6 to 7 months ago, it was here all the time. And
asking lots of New Zealand travel questions.
Yeah, New Zealand travel questions.
So good old days.
Well, we're not just talking about the coronavirus. Hiroshi, what have you been up to? Have you visited any places? Did you go for a hike somewhere? What's tell us about stuff about traveling in New Zealand. Tell us something like that. Michael Maino, which is from Hawaii, if you guys remember as well. Michael was popping in quite a lot lately. Good morning, everyone, he says, with a ton of emojis. I don't know what the first emoji is.
I think it looks like a little camper van or a train or something with smoke coming out of it.
Yeah, maybe. I know the other one. I just can't see this one. Sylvia Docherty says, hi, we're in Christchurch. Hey, Sylvia, how are you doing? How's it going in Christchurch? How cold is it right now? And what are you up to this weekend? It's a beautiful weekend. Are you going to go all the way to Akaroa to explore the Banks Peninsula? Are you going to go to Kaikoura to see some whales? Or are you going to go to some of the gardens in Christchurch? Are you going to head to the ski field near Methvens? What are you doing? What are you up to, Sylvia, today? Kirsty Wash says hello. So if you guys don't know, Kirsty, he's the luckiest person in our entire channel. So we run little giveaways. Every time we get an extra 1,000 subscribers. So if you guys don't know, just subscribe to the channel. And when we reach 1,000, the next kind of live session, we do a bit of a giveaway and we send you something. And the last Kirsty won it. But she was nice enough on the last one to say, oh, I already won one, so give it to someone else. So that was really nice of her. Sherry says, I'm doing well. All our state borders are closing again. Oh, no. I mean, that's good. At least they're keeping it in control, right?
Yeah.
You Australians just have to stay home. Just stay home for a few months. Just do like we did in New Zealand. Just religiously stay home. Yeah. Exactly. I think we were more disciplined in New Zealand, and I think that's that really helped us deal with the whole situation. Okay, Sylvia says, when you did the Transalpine train from Christchurch, what time did you arrive at the station? Do you get allocated seat?
I think
memories.
I know. For the times, I think it's maybe you arrive.
We arrived like 30 minutes before the train departed. So one of the things, right, is that we tend to always arrive a little bit early because we do all the filming, right? So we want to be able to get the shots, we want to get the best seat and all those kind of things, right? So we did arrive a little bit early, but I'd say if you arrive 15 minutes before departure, you are absolutely fine. You literally just park your car, walk into the station, give your ticket, and get in the train.
Yeah, I would even say like arrive half an hour before it departs, because I think we arrived quite early because, like Robin says, we were doing the filming and stuff. We wanted to get prepared for that, but a little bit later, so only about 15 minutes before the train was departing, there was a bit of a queue forming. So if you want to avoid the stress of like waiting in the queue, being like, oh, like, how am I going to get my ticket on time? I think it is best to come about half an hour before the train departs. In terms of seat allocation, I think you do get allocated seats, but you don't have to stay in your seats for the whole time. And that's definitely not what people do on the train. There's sort of open viewing carriages. There's like a cafe carriage. People are walking about all over the spot. So I think it's really rare to see people actually staying in their seats. I think the place where you're going to find the most people is the open view carriage. So they are literally, there's just the roof and a half a wall on each side. It's like it's open.
It looks like a cattle carriage. I mean, you can move around as much as you want, but that gives you like plenty of opportunity to take a lot of pictures and everything like that. So that's kind of the place where most people are going to. So you get you get to walk around the train as much as you want. So you get your own seat, but really doesn't matter too much. Obviously, if you're a family, like you can get those 4 seats facing each other. Like you get 2 seats in one way, the table, and then 2 seats there. So you can get those things and you can all be together. But yeah, it's super simple. I mean, Laura says half an hour before. I would arrive even shorter time. It's really kind of easy peasy to do. And I don't think that there is bad seats to get. Yeah. Just because you move around. Like if you want to get the best view, no matter what, you'll be in a viewing carriage, and that's a no seat. There's no seat there. It's just kind of one of the attraction you walk to there. So I don't think there is anything like there is. Yeah, I wouldn't think there is any bad seats there.
Yeah, well, the trains are very different to sort of the trains that you get, if you're in a city and
they're not
commuting. Yeah. So all the seats are sort of, they're designed to be like super comfortable. They're very spacious. Even the windows in the normal carriages next to the seats, they go all the way up to the ceiling. They're like big. They're like designed basically so that you can enjoy the scenery as you're chugging away, or whatever the verb is for riding a train. So
chewing away,
chewing through Arthur's Pass. So it doesn't, like, seats isn't really like a major concern on the Transalpine, because all the seats are really nice, and if you want to just sit down the whole time, it's a comfortable journey. But otherwise, you get to walk around the whole train, and that's what most people do.
Yeah. Sylvia is also telling us that in Christchurch right now it's -3. Damn, that is cold.
Oh.
Okay, I'm complaining right here, but we are at about like 5 degrees right now.
Yeah.
But damn, that is cold. But move to the North Island, Sylvia. It's warmer. All right. Michael Marino says, don't forget to like and share, everyone. Oh, thank you very much. So there is 16 people watching right now. We have 11 like. Can we get those 5 people that like the button to just click on it? Because if you do that, that tells YouTube that we do a good job and we answer all your questions, and maybe YouTube is going to be like, show it to other people. So that'd be lovely. But if you guys don't want to, it's all good. Lucas Hughes says, my question, before I get to, I forget to ask, are the both of you, it's okay, I'm just going to reread that. My question before I forgot to ask, are the both of you permanently living in New Zealand? So how did you both move here? Okay. So yes, we are both permanent residents here in New Zealand. We both arrived on a working holiday visa, and then we actually got some jobs that were considered as a skill shortage. That means that we had some qualification that New Zealand really needed, and that was our path to get residency. That's basically how it worked for us. It's a very lengthy process. It takes, I think it took me 7 years and took Laura 6 or something like that. So it takes a very long time to get this whole thing sorted. Michael Mariano says, the first emoji is an island with a beach umbrella. Oh, yeah, it's black and white. Okay, now I got it.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, Iamin Senda says, hello, thank you for this live. I want to know what are the best places for study in New Zealand. So it really depends what you study. There's a lot of schools all around New Zealand. Some of the most prominent places will be Christchurch, Auckland, Rotorua, and Wellington. Dunedin. Dunedin has a lot of students as well. So Dunedin, Christchurch, Auckland, Rotorua, and let's say Wellington to wrap it up as a good, nice number.
Yeah.
Steve Angela says, good morning, guys. You guys are amazing. Oh, thank you. She's mostly amazing. I'm just a blabbering mouth.
He's my voice.
Could you guys give me some job info in my trade line of work with regard to manufacturing in Hawke's Bay? I work on setting in Waikato or Hawke's Bay region. No, I don't have any. It's a travel channel here, mate.
So what we specialize in
manufacturing. I know nothing about that.
So what we specialize on this channel is traveling in New Zealand. We're not really experts in certain careers or that sort of thing. So we're not even going to try and attempt to answer the question.
Yeah, I don't even know what manufacturing is. What?
Just because what we would be telling you is just like, it wouldn't be very useful information. We honestly can't give you some good career advice, but in terms of the regions you might want to settle, Waikato and Hawke's Bay are both very nice. Yeah,
they're nice. There's a lot. We can tell you the nice thing that there is to do there. That's the kind of thing we can talk about. We can also talk a little bit about the cost of life. That's the kind of thing that we know, but manufacturing, we don't really know much.
Yeah, sorry about that.
CJ Buvy says, please give your comment on WITT Taranaki campus, good or bad. Same thing. We are a travel channel here, not a studying channel. So we've never been here. So I can't tell you if it's good or bad. But Taranaki is a wonderful region. There is a beautiful volcano right now, so give you access to some amazing hike. And on the whole coast of Taranaki region, there is something called the Surf Highway 45. So there's plenty of beaches in which you can go surf. It's a fantastic place to live in. So that's all I can tell you, but it's amazing.
Yeah.
Hiroshi says, good morning. I did just Mount Manganui and Tongariro Alpine Crossing, and now I'm in Kerikeri, Northland, and I want to know if there is any nice hike around here. Thank you, guys. Laura, Northland hikes.
I'm pretty sure you've probably already done this, but in Kerry, have you been to Rainbow Falls?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's not too long of a hike, and there's one way you can get there is that, well, there's just off the roadside. You can literally park up and walk 2 minutes down to the waterfalls, or otherwise you can park up at the Stone Store or the Kemp House. If you've heard about those attractions, if you park up there, you can actually do a longer river walk to get there, which is quite nice as well. But yeah, make sure that you have a look at our videos for when we did New Zealand's biggest gap year, where we did 365 days of 365 activities in New Zealand. And you'll see some of the hikes that we've done around Northland. And yeah, get a good idea of what there is to do around there.
Yeah, and you see me with my broken arm doing all those hikes.
Yeah.
It's fun. Okay, there's a question that could be fun to elaborate on. It's from Michael Mariano, and he says, do you have like 5 essential to brings while inside a camper van? All right, so yeah, there is a lot of kind of gadget and things that you want to take with you when traveling in a camper van, because it's basically one of the main ways to travel around New Zealand. So I think we're going to elaborate on this one for a little while. We'll still read all the comments in this live session because this is recorded live. And so don't worry, guys. We will read all your comments. But let's get started with, I think I'm going to go with number 1. I think you want to get one of those USB plugs that goes in the cigarette lighter, and you'll be able to charge your phone on there. I think that is make life so much easier than trying to go at the back of the camper van to charge your phone or anything like that. Just having everything just right in front of you is really handy, because you're going to use your phone for everything. You're going to be taking some pictures. You're going to be chatting with friends and family back home. You're going to use it as a GPS. You're going to try to call some people to book your next accommodation or your next activity or anything like that. So I think it's extremely important to have your phone charged at all time. And nowadays, I don't want to complain too much, and I don't want to sound like an old man, but my battery on my phone does not last an entire day if I use it. It drives me nuts.
It's definitely best to charge it while you're driving.
I know. I used to have a Nokia 3310 back in the days. It was called a brick, and you charged it once a week. But now my phone does everything, and it's fantastic, but it doesn't last a day, so it drives me bonkers. Anyway, so I really think this is really essential. And if you do get this item, make sure that you do have a charging cable for your phone that plugs into USB. Because one time we took that and we only had the plug wall charger, and we forgot about it, and we felt really stupid. So that'd be the first thing that I pack when I'm traveling in a camper van in New Zealand, is the USB plug for the, I don't know what, USB adapter for cigarette lighter. That's what I do. And try to get the one that has like 2 in it, not just one, so like that you can share with Laura. Or with the person.
Not just with me. I won't be there, but
okay, so that would be my first one. What would be yours?
Yeah, I would say even if you're traveling in summer, make sure that you pack plenty of warm clothing, because once the sun goes down, when you're in a camper van at night, it can get pretty chilly. A lot of the rental camper vans in New Zealand, they do have heaters in them, but obviously that's only really good to use if you are camping in a powered site, which means you would have to go to a holiday park. And that way you could have an electric heater on, and that would be totally fine. But if you're planning on doing any freedom camping, or maybe going into a Department of Conservation campsite, and you maybe you don't want to put the heater on because you don't have enough power in the reserves left in your camper van, then you definitely want to have some warm clothing to wear at night, even in summer, but especially in winter. I probably don't need to tell you about winter. You will definitely need to have warm clothes then, but also in summer, because on the evening it will get pretty chilly. So yeah, definitely bring some extra layers. Robin and I definitely favor having merino wool layers, but you can have like warm fleeces. Just make sure that you do have extra woolly socks and that sort of thing. And that extra bit of warmth on a night is basically will make it feel so much better. It can really ruin your mood if you're like super cold on a night. So yeah, it's not really like a gadgety type thing, but yeah, it's just one of those things that's it's good to have on a camper van road trip, no matter what time of year that you travel. Yeah, so the one I have next is not necessarily like a tech gadget or anything like that, but it's microfiber towels. One of the really painful things that happens when you travel in a camper van is that things stay wet and a bit damp and everything like that. It can get a little bit annoying. But if you get those kind of fast drying microfiber towel, you get to take your shower in that holiday park that you're at, and then you come back and you just have to hang the towel for only about an hour or two, and then it's completely dry, and you don't have this musty and wet smell all around the camper van at all time. Plus,
on the next day when you're about to take your shower, the towel is dry, rather than having to dry yourself with a wet towel for the whole trip. It really drives me nuts. And on top of that, what I really like about the travel, like, it's called travel towel or microfiber towel or anything like that. What I really like about those towels is that they're much smaller to pack, much easier to kind of travel with, and I think they're definitely a must-have. To be fair, for any kind of traveler, traveling in campervan or not, I will definitely have microfiber towel. It really helps a lot. So I will absolutely recommend those. You can get like pack of 2s on Amazon for like $30. It's definitely worth getting. Get also like maybe a smaller one as well, so you can kind of wash your face and have those things dry. Like you will find that drying thing in the campervan is really, really, really hard. So that's why there's some holiday parks which are fantastic. Like, for example, I'm thinking about what's the name of that place in Milford Sound that we stayed at?
The Milford Sound Lodge? The
Milford Sound Lounge. So the Milford Sound Lodge, they have a kind of a holiday park where you can park campervans there. They're always busy, so make sure you book it ahead in advance if you want to go with them. But what they have is that they have a drying room actually available. So because it rains so much in Milford Sound, and hiking shoes will never dry in a campervan. So if you get your hiking boots completely soaked, they're never going to dry. But they have a drying room over there. So you go in the room, there is like a basket full of newspaper. You just put newspaper in your shoes and you leave it there. And it's really hot and stuffy in there, but that will actually dry your shoes within about a day.
Yeah.
And so and some campsite, they have those drying room and they are godsend when you're traveling in campervan because you never dry anything. Anyway, so microfiber towel, that'll be my next one. What are we on? 1, 2, 3. We're at 3. Number 4, what do we have? Number 4.
Okay, so it's kind of, this isn't really something to take with you, but this is something to be really aware of when you are getting a campervan in New Zealand. I assume that you're talking about a campervan as if you're going to rent one, and you need to be aware of what's included in your rental. Usually there's bedding included, there's all the cutlery and the, like things for cooking, that sort of thing. So you don't really need to worry about those sort of items. But one thing when you are looking for a campervan in New Zealand that you need to make sure it has is a self-containment certification.
Yes.
So if you are wanting to travel around New Zealand in a campervan and stay in some places for free, for instance, you can stay in some certain campsites for free, and you can stay in even some car parks in certain cities for free and stuff like that. Basically allows you to save money while you're traveling around New Zealand. Then almost in every circumstance, you need to have a self-containment certification. And this is just like a little blue sticker that's on the campervan. And it basically shows that you have a toilet on board, you have a water supply and a wastewater tank as well. And basically this is like the only way that you can actually do freedom camping in New Zealand. So like I say, it's not something that you need to take with you, but when you're actually choosing a campervan or choosing which rental company to go with, it is basically an essential to make sure that they have that available. But if you are traveling around New Zealand and you only want to stay in holiday parks, for example, which are basically commercial accommodations where you pay to basically hook up to the power in a powered site in the holiday park, and that usually costs between $20 to $40 per night. So otherwise, and that's where you don't need to have a self-containment certification, because they basically have all the facilities on site for you to keep the environment clean and stuff. So yeah. Just to round that up, self-containment certification sticker is an essential to look for when you are renting a campervan.
Yeah, I agree. But since it's not something to pack, I'll give you something else. I absolutely think that you should have a torchlight, or even if you can, a head torchlight. Yes. It's much easier. Holiday parks at night, it gets dark. You have to go to places that you don't necessarily know. You're usually in a holiday park for like one night, so you don't really know where everything is. It's not like your house that you can, navigate in darkness. So you definitely need to get yourself a torchlight. You probably will have to get out of the campervan because you heard a noise and because she tells you to go check out what the noise is. There is no grizzly bear in New Zealand, but she's still scared. So you have to get out. So you put your torchlight. I like the one on the head because like that you can carry whatever you want to carry, like your plate. Let's say you want to do cooking over there in the facilities of the holiday park, because cooking in your camper van, it's nice and it's easy, but sometimes it just makes everything smelling and everything. If you have access to a full kitchen, you probably will be cooking over there, so you can do all your cooking and carry everything back. I think having a torchlight when traveling with a camper van in New Zealand is absolutely an essential. I think that if you travel without one, you will actually if there is one thing. Actually, no, because I agree with the phone charger as well. But I think that this item, you will really regret not having it when you need it. It's kind of like, oh my God, or you're with your phone, you use the torchlight of your phone and try to move around with it. It's nonsense. Just have like one of those easy, tiny torchlight. They're super light. They're not going to take any space in your luggage. You're probably not even going to need to charge it at all. You can just have one of them and be done with it. So I think that's really good, especially if you're also not getting one of those a bit more expensive like RV, and you just have like smaller kind of self-contained camper van. You're probably not going to want to drain the batteries all the time by having all the lights on at all times. So if you want to read a book or have a bit of a chit chat in the back of the camper van or something, you may just use your light and just place it somewhere in the camper van and just have that. So I think it's really very much of an essential. Some of them you can buy them and they come with a charging pad, which is kind of a solar powered charging pad, and you place that on the dashboard when you drive, and you plug your torchlight and you do that all around. So I will absolutely recommend to have a torchlight. I think traveling without a torchlight in a camper van in New Zealand, you will regret it. I was about to say it's dumb, but I don't want to call people dumb. I just feel like honestly it's such a life changer that you wouldn't want to go back. So that's what we say. Anyway, I hope that you guys did find this useful. That's a question that we got in one of the live chats, during one of the live sessions that we do, right in the live chat. If you guys want to join that, we do that every single Sunday at 8 a.m. New Zealand time. There is a link below that tells you exactly what time it will be in your side of the world. And in the meantime, if you find useful, like, subscribe, and we'll get back to live chat and answer much more questions. Let's get started. All right, let's go back to live chat. So we talked a little bit too much about that, but I thought that was a very interesting question. So I'm going to go over that. Kiwi Lauren wants to know the difference between Tamaki and Mitai in Rotorua. Honestly, they're very similar. The village is laid out a little bit different. The show, I think, is a little bit longer in Tamaki, I'd say. And the accessibility. So Mitai is much more central, while with Tamaki you got to take a bus away and everything. So the whole experience will take a little bit longer with Tamaki. They honestly, they're very similar. You'll have a blast doing any of them. So pick the one that actually fits your schedule. I wouldn't say one is better than the other. I've been more to Tamaki, so I know the people there a little bit more. So if I have to pick one, I pick Tamaki, but it's just really for that. I think they're really similar, Lauren. I think you'll have a blast in either. Michael Chike Luba says, is the border opening? Michael, we do have a full video on that we published last week, which include all our predictions for every single countries that we could think of. I was to every single country, but that's not true.
No.
For most countries that we could think of or get information on. So I think you should check this video out. That'd be nice. Kiwi Lauren says, "Oh, Tamaki and Mitai Maori Village. Yeah, I got this one. I've done Tamaki and loved it. I'm trying to decide if I should do it again or try a new one. You know what? If you've done Tamaki, definitely do Mitai.
Try a new one.
For sure. Okay, now, I didn't know you did Tamaki before, so absolutely do Mitai. They're both very good, so you'll love it. What else do we have? We have Catherine Hegarty that says, hello from New Jersey, USA. Hey, how are you doing? My holiday in October changed to March 2021, celebrating my 50th birthday, staying with relatives. You recommend day tour companies. It's 36 degrees here. Very well. Day tours company from where? Where are you going to be staying? Are you going to be in Auckland, Christchurch, Wellington? If you give us a little bit more information, we'll be able to help. But the day tour company will widely vary from where you're at, because the company that operates in Auckland is probably not going to operate in Queenstown or Christchurch. So if you can give us a little bit more information, Catherine would be happy to answer. Also, you may want to check our website, which is called nzpocketguide.com. There's a link in the description right here, and it's all free to use. We're not selling in anything, but in there we actually put all the must-dos, all the activities, and all those kind of things for each cities. And that's all our reviews. We've done all of them. There's a lot of information on there, so you may be able to go at your own pace as well and check out the website and see if there's some that you like and what you will fancy doing in each of the places that you are. So you can click on destination, and then you have all the different areas, and then it's kind of like a main guide, and then it will point you out in the right articles. Or you can click on activities, and then you click on must do, and then you probably will find the city you stay at. So I think that's a good place to start, but give us more information. We'll be giving you some info right here. Italo ALS says, did you hear anything about a new regional lockdown? No, I don't think there is going to be any extra lockdown here in New Zealand. Obviously, if there is another outbreak, we will all go again on lockdown, like very well-behaved Kiwis, and then we're going to get out again after a month and have freedom again. Yeah. New Zealand has been really good at that, but so far we haven't heard anything, so there's not much lockdown. Azar Hamad says, good morning, you guys, impressive.
Oh,
Laura, you're really impressive. Yay. Sherry Rusworth says, is it worth taking a day trip to Arrowtown from Queenstown? I've already watched the video. Aha, she already watched the video. So we won't advise you to check the video.
Yeah.
I'm already going to Wanaka and Glenorchy, so I'm looking for somewhere else to go there by bus.
Depends how much time you have.
Yeah, I would swap Wanaka for Arrowtown, to be honest. Wanaka is so similar to Queenstown. There's nothing in Wanaka except that one tree. So I will swap Wanaka for Arrowtown for sure.
Yeah,
that's what I would say.
Yeah, Arrowtown is very different. Like Robin says, like Arrowtown is quite a different feel. It's got it's a historic town. The streets preserved old gold mining town. So and also like the sort of like sort of cafes and shops and stuff there are really quite different to what you'll find in Queenstown and Wanaka. Whereas Wanaka is quite similar to Queenstown.
It's just a smaller, more boring Queenstown. That's what it is. I'm sorry, but that's what it is. So,
like we say, if you had to make any changes there, we would say go for Arrowtown, scrap Wanaka, and check out Glenorchy as well. But
on top of it, the drive is going to be shorter to go to Arrowtown than going to Wanaka from Queenstown.
Yeah.
So here you go.
So, but if you do have like loads of time in Queenstown, then by all means go check out Arrowtown as well as the other places you want to go to. If you have limited time, then maybe skip Arrowtown. But yeah, I think our main advice would be to just swap Arrowtown and Wanaka.
Yeah. But again, you do what you want. If there is really something you want to do in Wanaka, hell, go there, enjoy. It's good. Steve Changela says, sorry guys, I appreciate your effort in trying to answer my previous question. I love the cold, but my partner hates it, so I have to... your partner is not going to enjoy winter in New Zealand. You may want to investigate Northland, so that's north of Auckland.
Yeah.
MB1968 says, good morning, Whanau. And Extreme Talota says, Morena. So Whanau means family in Maori, which is a local indigenous kind of language. So he says, good morning, family. He shows up really often, so that's why he says that. And Extreme Talota says, Morena. If you guys don't know, Morena means good morning in Maori, which, again, is the local indigenous language, which is really awesome.
MB says, take a friend to snuggle with.
That's good for the cold. That's great for the cold. So here you go, Steve.
That was in relation to us answering the question about what essentials to take with you on a campervan road trip.
He also says you can eat a ton of Whittaker's chocolate, which is some really good New Zealand chocolate, to keep you distracted to death. That is both grim and appealing. You're a weird man. I like it. Yeah. Woman, I don't know, but you're a weird person. I really enjoy your train of thought right here. I think that would be a nice sweet death with the Whittaker chocolate.
Forget about the warm clothes I was talking about. Just get the chocolate.
Yes. Steve talked to Sherry and said, Sherry, the South region is a must-visit area. The beauty is breathtaking. I agree. Lucas said, how old were you when you decided that you wanted to live in New Zealand, and how long did it take to plan it? I'll be 100% honest with you. That wasn't planned. I was just coming here for about 3 months, and then I stayed around. So that was quite cool. And I don't know how old I was. Probably about 21, 22, 20, 23, around like early to mid-20s.
Yeah, I first arrived in New Zealand when I was 21.
I can't remember her age. Oh,
yeah.
So yeah, she did 21.
But again, I wasn't planning to stay in New Zealand either.
It just happened.
Yeah.
Sometimes in life things happen. MB agrees. You need to get a self-contained campervan to get more freedom. I agree. Michael Mariano says awesome. I think it's in relation of our answer to your question. So yeah, we're really happy. By the way, guys, if you find this video useful, just hit that like button. It's a great way to say thank you for all our hard work. We got 20 viewers, 16 likes. I think we can get those
even
4
those
people.
numbers.
Where are those 4 people that didn't click like? Azar says wow. Wow, awesome.
Wow.
I like people which are happy. That's good. MB says a lot of the self-contained campervan are nice. Yeah, there's some really good companies.
It's a house on wheels. It's quite lovely.
So Adil says, hello, Robin and Laura. Are there any activities to do in New Zealand's airport for families with children who have time to spend before boarding their flights? Thank you in advance. Actually, near the Auckland airport, there is a mini golf, which is pirate theme, which is quite cool. There is Butterfly Creek, where you can see a ton of butterfly. There's also a lot of like kind of big dinosaurs and everything. Kids absolutely love that. And there's also, how do you call those things? Where it's a bit like Adrenaline Forest, where it's like
like a high wire obstacle course.
Yes, there's high wire obstacle course as well. All 3 activities would be great for family. They're really close to the Auckland airport. And you can get a taxi to get there. That would probably cost you about $20 to get a taxi one way and $20 the way back. And then those activities are relatively cheap. So you can get a family pass for about $80. So all in all together, that should cost you about $120, and you keep the kids busy and you have fun with them and make some extra memories. So I think I will do any of those ones. So Butterfly Creek, the high obstacle course, and the mini golf, and they're all very close to the Auckland airport.
Anything in the airport?
In the airport, go shopping at Cartier or Dior. Oh, wait, no, the kids hate that. No, there's nothing to do in the airport.
In the airport, it's basically, in the Auckland airport, the facilities, like once you go through your normal like check-in and all that, it's just like shopping, food, more shopping, lounges where you lounge and wait for your plane. So there's nothing too fancy going on in the Auckland airport.
But you can get yourself some board games. There is some amazing board games, and we do give some recommendation on nzpocketguide.com, which are like small board games, easy to travel. We always have board games with us, and we usually play board games at the airport when we're not taking a million photos.
That was going to be my next Campervan essential, actually, to bring a little game or something so you can play on an evening.
Here you go, Michael, a bit of a bonus for you. If you want some recommendation of board games, we're really into it, so you can talk to us. Me here, Upadhyay. I am so sorry I just destroyed your name, but I hope that you understand that I did my best. I tried my hardest. It says, hey guys, thanks for all your informative video. You're very welcome. I just want to understand the scope of sport business job in New Zealand, as I'm planning to do my master in sports management in Christchurch, New Zealand. Thanks. No idea. What do you know about sport business, Laura?
So like I said before, we are a travel channel that we really specialize in the different things that you can do around New Zealand if you're traveling as a tourist, or if you're coming sort of just temporarily on a working holiday visa and you want to see what there is around to do in New Zealand, or if you're even here to study for a short time and you want to see what there is to do. But in terms of like career prospects and the different types of jobs to get, other than sort of like the usual sort of backpacker type jobs, we really don't specialize in that sort of information, so we can't really give you anything that would be any use to you, basically. So sorry, we can't really answer your question well, but if you have any information about what there is to do in Christchurch, if you want to know what there is to do in Christchurch, or get some more information on Christchurch, we can definitely answer those sort of questions for you.
If MB 1968, or I think Chris Buchanan is a Kiwi as well, Extreme Talota, if you guys are Kiwi and you know the scope of sports management business in Christchurch and you have some real information about that, you can leave them over there in the chat, and that may help me. But aside from that, I'm sorry, we don't have that much. Azar Hamad says, do you really know about the UNHCR work about refugee people? Please, I want to know who's stuck in different countries. So I really understand your question, but New Zealand is part of the UN, and we are part of the UN refugee program, which means that we do accept refugees. Obviously, there is a lot of different conditions and everything like that, and that is all thing that you have to deal with Immigration New Zealand. They are in charge of these kind of things, so you will have to contact them directly. And so if you want to know how to get started, you go on immigration.govt.nz. But yes, New Zealand is part of the United Nations, and so therefore we are part of the refugee program. So yeah, here you go. Hiroshi says, where can I eat whitebait in North Island? Is it good? It's not good. I don't like. I'm sorry, all the Kiwis which are watching that, but I don't like whitebait. It just tastes like fishy, like a proper fish, which has a, it tastes like fish, but it tastes like that specific
had chance
fish.
to grow.
Yeah, it tastes like that specific fish. Whitebait just tastes fishy. It's a big part of the local culture, so it's worth trying, but I don't think it tastes that good. I don't know of any places on the North Island to try whitebait. It's very much something which is quite popular to the west coast of the South Island. So that's where I would say to go to try whitebait, but it's not that great. I will try hockey, and I will try snapper. I will try like a full-fledged fish that tastes much better. My personal opinion, of course, there is probably going to be a lot of comments right here. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Chris Buchanan says, we just had a Brits for weekend and took it down to Queenstown and Mount Cook. There are some good deals just now for rentals.
Yeah.
Yes, so since the borders are closed, there are a lot of companies which are discounting their price quite a lot. Brits are quite famous for having quite large campervan, and they also have some small one, but they're more famous for their large campervan, large RV, because they're usually some of the cheapest on the market, which is quite nice. So yeah, what did you get to do in Queenstown and Mount Cook, Chris? Did you just do a bit of hiking around and walking around, or did you do some awesome activities? Tell us, I want to know. MB1968 says, me time are a little deeper into the aspect of Maori culture. They have one of the best performing group in the country. Yeah, so as you see, Kiwi Lawrence, that's in response to Kiwi Lauren that was asking in between Mitai and Tamaki. So as you see, Kiwi Lauren, there is a little bit of a difference in between. So the show is going to be a little bit different and all that. But yeah, if you already tried Tamaki, for sure, try Mitai. Yeah. Catherine, she says she was in Auckland, North Island. She's going to sail with the America's Cup, skydiving in Taupo, day hike in Tongariro National Park. I will be coming in Auckland for a 10 to 12 day trip, and she appreciates any advice. Okay, so Catherine, I wouldn't do any day trips. Okay, I will do a 12-day trips around. You wouldn't be able to go all the way down to Tongariro, do the hike, and then go back to Auckland. It doesn't work. Yeah. So if you do like a 10 or 12-day trips, then we have a ton of advice for you. And you go on NZ Pocket Guide. You click on prepare your trip. Then you click on transportation. And then you click on bus, and we rank all of them. We talk about all of them. We try to ton of them. We have all the information that you want, and you can pick the best one for you.
Yeah.
I will say Flying Kiwi is a really good one, and then the one called Wild Kiwi. I think both of them are going to be really awesome. They're quite active, so you get to do a bit of mountain biking as well as hiking and all that. And I think you're really going to enjoy those ones.
If you actually type in nzpocketguide.com in the search, if you type in 10 how you've done right here, 10/12 or 10-12 day trip, we actually have articles that compare loads of different types of those trips around New Zealand, starting from Auckland. So yeah, you would be able to compare where they go to, what sort of activities they do, what's included. We definitely, we actually have the perfect article for you.
I'll show you. Here you go. On here, you're going to be clicking on the menu. Can you click on prepare your trip, Laura? She'll do it for you. Just move. Yeah. Do it.
Yes, I'm going.
Yeah. Prepare your trip.
Travel tips.
Yeah, travel tips, sorry.
Prepare your trip. What are we looking for?
Transportation.
And we are going for bus.
And in there, that's going to load. And in there, you're going to have so many, and that's it, us writing it, right? So you're going to find so many articles right here that's going to help you plan your trip. Oh, sorry, can you scroll down so she can see the article? Yeah. Scroll down, yeah. Here you go. You get all the articles right here with all our, you see, there's lowest space.
Best 7-day tour, best 5-day tours. We do have a 10 to 12-day tours in there somewhere, so that should be the perfect thing for what you're looking for. But yeah, we have so much information on here that you'll be able to really compare the different types of trips around New Zealand or the North Island really well. Yeah. So yeah.
And once you check those ones and you kind of hesitate between two and everything, just come back here next week and we'll talk together and we'll go over the difference on each of them and everything like that, or which bus pass to take or anything like that. We're really happy to answer. But I think right now your question is really really wide, and since your question is really wide, I feel like we can go in so many different directions and we won't give you a useful answer. And so that's for this reason that we say that for you, Catherine.
Yeah.
Sherry says, haha, thanks. I'm already doing a group So Wanaka and Glenorchy is already included. So I'm looking for somewhere else to take a day or two after the tour from Queenstown. That's a cool place to go to. You can also contact a company called Nomads Safari if you want to do a day tour. They will take you to a lot of different places. They will actually take you to Arrowtown. They will also, and we actually have a video on the channel of us doing the Nomad Safari. So if you want to see something that a normal day tour wouldn't take you to, go with them. You're literally going to drive inside the river, and I'll let you watch the video. Type Nomads Safari Queenstown, on our channel, and watch our video of us doing it. And you do some gold panning, you check Arrowtown, you check the Skipper's Canyon. There's really a lot to do there, and I think that would be a really good day tour that will take you to Arrowtown as well. So you do Arrowtown, but you do much more as well, and I think that's worth it.
Yeah.
But we're not working for Nomad Safari, by the way. So you can pick another company. But we just done this one, and we do like it. So
we can recommend that one.
Omar Hamed say hello. I say I applied and got the 1 year working holiday visa from the UK, but it runs out next month. Can I extend? You need to contact Immigration New Zealand immediately. Immigration.govt.nz. Contact them and ask your questions to them.
Yes.
It needs to be done now. It should have been done like 3 months ago. So contact them now and see with them if they can or cannot extend it. M. Bjanji Chumaini says, you are really good people. Thank you. It's nice comment. Look, good heart. I like it. Catherine says, we love to visit Masterton and Napier while staying in Auckland. Whew, that's a long drive. I think,
I think
that's far. It has to be part of your trip around the North Island.
Yeah.
I wouldn't drive from Auckland to Napier or to Masterton just to visit it. It's too far.
Yeah, I would say Napier, if you have to do, just if you're like strapped for time and stuff, or maybe you don't want to travel too far.
Yeah.
Masterton is quite a lot further than Napier from Auckland, but they're both really known for the same sort of thing, which is like their fruit orchards, their vineyards and wineries, which I imagine perhaps is the reason why you want to go there.
Everybody wants to go to got the wine.
Yeah, and because they're so similar, I would definitely just pick one of the two, and I'd probably go to Napier because it is a little closer to a bit closer to Auckland, and there's a lot of things to do in the surrounding area as well, which is pretty cool. So that's our advice on that. Hiroshi.
Sorry about that. Hiroshi says there was a dwarf statue at the airport, but they removed it. They may. You know what? They're shooting Avatar right now in New Zealand, so there may be some massive Avatar statues when the movies come out. Don't worry, they will capitalize on any movies made in New Zealand.
They're usually made by the Weta Workshop, which is in Wellington, and they do tours like behind the scenes movie tours and stuff over there. So they have a bunch of like Lord of the Rings statues and things over there as well. If you're missing it from the airport, you can go to the Weta Workshop and check some of their statues there.
MB 1968 is responding to Azar, which was talking about the UN refugee program. So it says that New Zealand is part of the UN refugee program. If you have family in New Zealand, he says that I will make it easier for you. And also he says it also depends on what type of refugee you are, if you're political and economic and everything like that. So he's absolutely right. It's a thing that you need to check with Immigration New Zealand, go through the whole process with them. And Azar, thank you so much. So here you go, Azar. You got the whole team trying to help you. Awesome. Catherine says, thanks, Robin and Laura. It sounds good. And you're very welcome. So Catherine, check out what we wrote. Laura mostly writes. I just do the overseeing of the IDs. And check out what we wrote, and then come back next week, and then we talk about that kind of your top picks and everything. And I think that's going to be much easier. Also, it's much easier to kind of just sit down and kind of read at your own pace rather than hearing us talking blah, 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 and sometimes
so you can actually take in all the information and actually take the time to compare the different options as well.
That's why we created the site for you guys.
Yeah.
Lucas says, whoa, thanks for answering. I really appreciate it. I'm 20 and I wanted to move to New Zealand since I was 18. So which city did you move to first, and which city are the easiest to integrate to? So everybody lands in Auckland mostly. Laura spent a lot of time in Queenstown, and I personally spent a lot of time in Rotorua. And so, spending some time in out cities, not in Auckland, very important. But honestly, all the cities are very friendly, and aside from Auckland, which is really busy and it's a bit more of a soulless city. community compared to all the other places where you really feel like you're part of the community.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's only a personal take, but that's basically
and also
it.
Auckland is very expensive in comparison to the rest of the country. So if you
we are staying long today.
Usually, I suppose we're past our time. Yeah, usually when you arrive in a new country, you are spending a lot of money trying to set your life up somewhere else. So if you want to, cut those costs a little bit, it's usually a little easier to do that outside of Auckland.
How Omar say thanks. You're very welcome, Omar. MB1968 does a shameless company plug, but we'll go for it. Horizon Tools is a Maori tool company based in Akarora. So here you go. Let's plug your family right here. Awesome. Tell them to send us an email, by the way, if they want to be shamelessly plugged on the website as well. I don't think we have them on the site. So yeah, tell them to flick us an email. Anthony comes to say, I'm staying till the end, but I will say goodbye and stay safe. Goodbye and stay safe, Anthony.
Goodbye.
That help us wrap it up. Thank you, everybody, for popping in today. We had a blast hanging out with you guys. I hope that you learned a lot about traveling in New Zealand. We talked about the best gadget and things to pack when traveling in the campervan. We talked about what Air New Zealand was planning on doing for the next couple of weeks. We answered a lot of questions about so many travel and everything, and that's just fun to talk a little bit about traveling in New Zealand, guys. We've been talking about the coronavirus so much lately. I really want to thank you guys for having travel questions. It just felt good to get back to like the good old days of prior to the COVID-19 crisis and talk about traveling. And obviously that's what this channel is all about. So if you're new, you can hit subscribe, and when the crisis dies down, we're all going to be just about traveling in New Zealand, and it's kind of the best place to do that. And if you want to pick our brain 24/7, if every single day of the week you want to talk about traveling in New Zealand, you can head to NZPocketGuide.com. The link is in the description below, and it's the largest travel guide in New Zealand. It's written by Laura and I, and we update it literally every single day. We spend every day doing at least some updates to keep it up to date for you guys. And if you head there, you can also find us on Facebook. You can do all these kind of things if you feel like you want to do that. You don't have to. You can share those videos. You can do that as well. Let's share the love. And remember, when we hit 19,000 subscribers, we'll do another giveaway. So make sure to share things around. And we'll see if Kirsty wins again.
Probably will, but she's kind enough to give it to other people. So,
guys, let's just get more subscribers so Kirsty Wash can get some more presents from us. Anyway, thank you guys. Everybody say thank you. Lucas says thank you. Michael say thank you. Catherine say goodbye and thank you. And Sherry say thank you. You guys are awesome. See you next week. Bye bye. Stay safe.
See you next week.